That tight end, of course, is Kyle Pitts of the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, right off the bat, guys, one of the first things I did when looking at our incoming rookie class was look at all of the available targets that are now, possible as these guys inherit these new positions. And in Atlanta, most notably, you have Hayden Hurst, who was the outgoing tight end, or at least they didn't pick up his fifth-year option, so he can be assumed dead weight at this point. 88 targets last year. Pitts, there's a reason why he's on this list with wide receivers. It's because the man's a freak of nature, and he's probably the most touted wide receiver or most touted tight end coming out of that position since guys like Jordan Reed or Vernon Davis, who were equally touted coming out of college. There's speculation that even Julio Jones himself could be traded. If that happens, this is a guy that's been averaging between, 120 targets to 170 targets over the last, decade or so. So we could reasonably assume that 150 targets are up for grabs in most notably one of the past happiest offenses in the NFL, being the Atlanta Falcons. Last year, of course, they were top 10, but every year prior to that, especially the last three, they were top 5, with 2019 being the number 1 pass happiest offense. With that being said, let's start it off. Let's paint a picture where Julio Jones is still here. Can there be a case made for taking Kyle Pitts, number 1 overall in fantasy rookie drafts? Now, obviously, Najee Harris is there, but he's a running back, so we're not talking about him. But let's just say, is there a world where we can see Kyle Pitts going over someone like, the other notable wide receiver in this class, Chase, or you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Jamar Chase. So, Jacob, I'll start with you. Is there a world where we can see someone draft Kyle Pitts over Jamar Chase?
Is there a world where that happens? Yes, but maybe 1 out of 100 worlds, because I just think, I don't know, it just depends on your team, obviously, team needs. If you're like, damn, I'm stacked at wide receiver, I'm stacked at running back, but I have no tight ends. Like I have some third string tight end and then Gronk or something. And then you're like, damn, to complete my team, I need a tight end. Then yes, I could see that. I think most people could use a running back in Dynasty. A lot of teams wouldn't mind adding a Jamar Chase. So I think it's really hard. And then if you're talking Superflex, obviously a lot of quarterbacks could go over them too. But I think he's probably third. And this is non-Superflex. He's probably third there after Chase and Harris for me, at least.
Yeah, that's fair. Joe, I mean, with that being said, there's a lot of would you say negative connotations with rookie tight ends and how they don't really pan out? I mean, back up 2 years ago, we saw TJ Hawkinson in game 1. We were like, oh my God, the guy's going to set the world on fire. And then he was just a complete dud throughout the rest of his rookie season. And we see this trend kind of continue on and so forth throughout the years with tight ends. Can Kyle Pitts be the type of player to break that mold? What do you think, Joe?
I mean, the guy looks like, I think one of you said, I think it was you, Gabe, he's a freak of nature. And in a situation where Julio's traded in the next, 2 weeks, it ups his value some, right? But I also think this is a different Atlanta team, where last year they had Gurley, who was pretty much dead weight. And now they have Mike Davis, Cordero Patterson. Cordero's nothing special, but both of those guys, 1, they both catch the ball. And 2, Mike Davis, he's just solid. Like, that's a huge upgrade from Todd Gurley of what we've seen the last year. So I like Pitts, and Jacob and I have talked extensively about this. I think in a redraft, I think I have him somewhere in that 4 to 6, 7 range. Like, I can make the case that, hey, listen, with Hawkinson, I know what I get. He's got a better situation because there's no targets around him. But I don't think he's anywhere. I don't think you can put him in that top 3 class until we see something, right, with Waller, Kittle, Kelsey. So in Dynasty, non-Superflex, I would have to say no, because and I don't think any world it makes sense, because if I get a Najee Harris, running backs are always king, guys. So I could take Najee Harris and I can flip him for maybe a George Kittle, right, who's 27, and we know that he's a superstar. I could definitely trade him probably for a Waller, and throw on a Gronk and say, hey, you just got to find the right team. So from a value standpoint, I don't see Pitts being even a top 3 pick, just because I think, Devontae Smith is up there, Waddle's up there. Those guys are going to be number 1 wide receivers on their team within 2 years. So, no, I don't. But I think, like Jacob said, I like him at 3 if that's the piece that completes your team.